All right. Shalom, shalom. First and foremost, we'd like to give all praises, double honor, and glorification to the Most High Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Hamashiach, Wamarak Yahushua, right? Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Back at it again with a quick video, breaking down these strongholds, all Lord willing. We're going to kick this thing off with a few preliminary precepts through the Spirit, all right? Because the topic that we're going into is atheist contradictions on the hot seat, man. All right. You have this website, okay, that is essentially trying to debunk the Bible, okay, and people choose to denounce God because they think that the Bible contradicts, and they try to bring their points to prove it, and that's why Lord willing, through the Spirit power, Yahweh Shemel Shai, we're gonna burn it all down, all right, and show why it's utter madness and makes absolutely no sense. All right, let's kick it off. Proverbs chapter 5 and verse 15. Let me get this on the screen real quick. All right, bear with me. Okay, calm, Lord willing, brothers and sisters can see that. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 5, and verse number 15. It says, drink waters out of thy own cistern and running waters out of thy own well. All right, so I bring this out to say, we got to drink waters out of our own cistern. Our living waters, they chiefly come from Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Okay, so we can't go and start diving in. Well, I ain't gonna say diving into, but we can't go and drink. Yeah, diving into, the waters of the other nations, the waters of the heathen. Okay, because that's essentially what his website and this idea come from. All right, it comes from the so-called white man. Okay, you don't want to go drinking waters from them because their waters is disgusting. It's filthy. It's dirty. It's tainted. It's not pure. All right, you want to drink waters out of your own well. Okay, our cistern and our well is Yahweh Yahweh Shai. That's where our waters come from. That's where our wisdom, knowledge, and understanding come from. Okay, let me get one more real quick through the Spirit. The classic Proverbs 3, right? Third chapter. Let's get this real quick. Proverbs 3 and 31. It says, envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. All right, and this is the ways of your oppressor. They choose not to believe in God. They choose to be non-God-fearing men. Okay, they choose to be stout-hearted and full of pride and think they could debunk the words of God. Okay, they heart is setting them to not believe in God, nor reverence him, nor respect him. So you don't want to choose this way of your oppressor. This is evil. Okay, to denounce the Almighty God, the Most High. Okay, that's pure madness. All right, so you want to drink waters out of our own cistern, man. Our living waters come from Yahweh Yahweh Shah. That's where our sound, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding comes from. And we don't want to choose the ways of our oppressors. All right, brothers got it.
Kind of gonna hop in there real quick, just to expound on the brother's point. It's the book of Proverbs, chapter 2, and verse 6. And it says, for the Lord giveth wisdom, out of his mouth cometh knowledge and understanding. Ultimately, the true knowledge, wisdom, and understanding comes from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Because we don't rely on our own wisdom. We didn't just wake up with this one day. We just said, oh, I finally got it. This is how it is. No, the Most High put it on our spirit. And how do we do that? By keeping the commandments. This verse 7, he said, it layeth up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walketh uprightly. So this understanding that comes from the Most High is gonna. What is a buckler? A buckler is something that's gonna keep you. Well, what's the correct word I want to use for the most part? It's gonna keep you not necessarily just safe, but it's gonna keep you connected. It's gonna hold you up. It's gonna really just keep you strong and fortified. Against the wiles of the devil and Satan for the most part, because what that sound wisdom is coming ultimately from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. I got one more precept on that. It's the book of Job, chapter 32, and I'm gonna start at verse 8. And it says, but there is a spirit in man, and the inspiration of the Almighty giveth them understanding. And that's what all of us brothers and sisters gotta ultimately achieve or hope to achieve and strive for, is that inspiration that cometh from Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. It tell you in the book of Psalm chapter 111 and verse 10, a good understanding have all they that keep and do my commandments, right? So, brothers got it.
Shalom to the 12 tribes scattered abroad, man. Right, coming back, getting into another hot seat, man. And we had to put everything on trial. Can you give me First Thessalonians, chapter 5 and verse 21? Give me First Thessalonians 5 and 21 real quick. Uh, The Lord says, "Prove all things, hold fast that which is good." Of course, that's saying to prove and to bring forth the facts of stuff. Because we're supposed to pull out the facts. The Lord said, "Out of two or three witnesses." But prove all things is going through in the spirit to put everything to the test. We got to put atheism on the test. We got to put Hinduism on the test. We got to put Christianity on the test. Islam on the test. Everything got to get put to the test and got to be proved so we can see what's true. And after we put it to the test, then we do what? We hold fast that which is good. And what's good, man? Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah, man. The doctrine of Yahweh Shah. Right? Give me another precept. Give me Sirach, right, chapter 12, and start at 10. So we have to prove all things. Everything must be tested. We have to find out and search a matter. And we have to ultimately destroy these strongholds that come from Esau. Right? Because we know Jake learned this stuff from Esau. Jake don't know what's going on. They just, they on the internet and they see a video that was chopped up together, and now they're atheists, man. You never was atheist. Your mama never told you that. She probably was a Baptist, man. A lot of you so-called Haitians, you was Catholic, man. A lot of you Jamaicans and Trinidadians, y'all was Catholic, man. So y'all knew about God, but y'all knew him in the wrong way, right? So the Lord says in Psalm chapter 12, verse 10, "Never trust thine enemy, for as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness." Right? And who is the enemy? So us go to his name. Search up Frank. Frank, I think it's Zilliner or Swindler. Right? Frank Zwilliner. It's on the chat, man. Right? It should be on that website. Right? Him at the bottom. In fact, I got him. So, real quick. Frank. Right here it is. His name is, you can go to it real quick. His name is Frank, Frank, space Zindler, Zindler. Right? And you can look him up and you can see that this is the devil. Right? Yeah, yeah. And that's who we're supposed to be getting the breakdowns from. Right? Frank Zindler. Right? Frank. He got no beard on his face. Right? He's on his way out. He got a suit and tie on. Right? And Esau love their suit and ties. He got a suit and tie on. He can't even see. Got glasses on. And he got all these books of hidden knowledge, man. So we don't get our breakdowns from Frank in the house of Zindler. Right? And then when you look into that name, that's a German last name. Right? So we're not supposed to listen to our oppressors when they break stuff. Look, is that a cross, man? Madness. Right? Madness. So go back to that Sirach 12. We don't listen to the president of the American atheists. And this was supposed to be his big thing. This is the breakdown. This is the complete understanding. Right? This is the complete understanding. Hey, this is proof that there is no God. Right? So let's keep reading Sirach 12 and 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him, and thou shalt be unto him as if thou hadst as if thou hadst wiped a looking glass, and that thou knowest, like I said, that thou knowest his rust have not been altogether wiped away, man. So ultimately, we know Esau is crouching. He's making himself humble. Right? I'm just a philosopher. I just here to give you the understanding. I just want to know the truth. But ultimately, he just wants to keep you away from your God and make you stay in sin and go off, man. Right? Brothers got it.
Kind, I just want to make a quick point. Essentially, what we're about to go into, especially the points that this Edomite is making, is carnal wisdom. Is wisdom of this world, which obviously we know is foolishness with the Most High. It's the book of James, chapter 3 and verse 15. This wisdom descendeth not from above, but is earthly, sensual, devilish. And essentially that's what this devil is at the end of the day. Because he's trying to dissuade you from the most high. He's trying to dissuade you from the true understanding. And according to his knowledge, when we get into the article, it seems as if he's making a point with his so-called contradictions, but ultimately he has no understanding whatsoever at all, because he was never given that understanding, nor can he ever obtain it. And I'm gonna land with this last precept. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 101 and verse 7. Because it is one thing about Esau, he can't stop lying. Even on a carnal level, all these presidents, all these politicians, even on a lower level, they just can't stop lying in the entertainment industry. They can't really show their true nature, even though those who have eyes to see and ear to hear, we know what's going on. We see his true nature, because essentially he's just the physical arm of Satan. You got the spiritual, demon Satan, and you have the physical arm of Satan, which is Esau, right? But it's the book of Psalms, chapter 101 and verse 7. It says, "He that worketh deceit shall not dwell within my house, and he that telleth lies shall not tarry in my sight." So the Most High is not dealing with Esau, none of his wisdom on on the left hand side whatsoever. And when we dive into it through the Spirit, we're going to be able to cut down all these strongholds and false doctrines. Brothers got it.
Cons want to grab one more quick one through the Spirit. I'm going to Sirach 19. It's the book of Sirach, chapter 19 and verse number 22. Real quick, it says, "What? The knowledge of wickedness is not wisdom, neither at any time the counsel of sinners prudence," man. And I bring this out to say, the knowledge that this Edomite is bringing forth is wickedness. The Lord said the knowledge of wickedness, he don't even consider that wisdom. It's a wicked thing to write on the front of that dang book. Let me go to it real quick. This is evil. The knowledge of wickedness. What do you mean by this? I don't even want to utter those words out of my mouth. That's evil. Okay, that's madness. All right. So the knowledge of wickedness, that's not knowledge in the eyes of God. And proclaiming that God is not real and doesn't exist, and you don't believe in him, that's horrible counsel. All right. That's not prudence. That's the counsel of sinners and evildoers. All right. I'm gonna read verse 23. It says, "There is a wickedness and the same an abomination, and there is a fool wanting in wisdom." See, this fool really wants wisdom. He wish he could understand Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. He wish he had the eye salve, man. He wants wisdom, but he can't get it. So since he can't get it, he chooses to go against it. All right. This is what evildoers do. This is what the devil brings forth, man. All right. The scriptures say even the devils believe and they tremble. So who the hell are you? That's pride. Let me get that real quick. That's in James, the second chapter. I'm gonna go to that real quick. Even the devils believe, man. Let me get that real quick. James 2 and
verse 21.
Verse 21. Let's deal with it. Salaki, a little bit up, I believe.
Oh, verse 19, Salaki.
There we go, right there. Let me zoom in on that. All right, this book of James, chapter 2 and verse 19. A classic. Got to blow the dust off this one, man. It says, "Thou believest that there is one God, thou doest well. The devils also believe and tremble." So even the devils believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua and his beloved son. Even the devils believe. So this is utter madness. When you have this devil, damn Edomite, man. All right. Zigader, whatever his Zimmy name is. All right. Trying to go against the Almighty God, Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, and his beloved son. You a damn fool. All right. And your wickedness, your evil that you proclaiming forth, that's not real wisdom. You just want wisdom, man. All right. So he's a damn fool. When even the devils, these demons, even they believe. They know the Most High, his son, is real. So this is just pride and evilness at the end of the day. But if brother's ready, without further ado, we could dive into it.
Most definitely.
Let's go to the first thing here. All right, let's check this out. All right, now we're gonna get an intro. Cordar wanted to touch on this, so we're gonna go to the intro, see what these guys got to say, man. This is wickedness, man. This is madness.
Read that.
It said, "It is a central dogma of all fundamental Christians that the Bible is without error. They teach this conclusion by reasoning that God cannot be the author of false meaning and he cannot lie. Is this true? If written by a perfect being, then it must not contradict itself, as a collection of books written by different men at different times over many centuries will be expected to contradict each other. With this in mind, let us have a look at the Bible on several subjects. This is a damn devil, right? This is a real demon. Okay. This is men who don't have spiritual understanding. This is men who don't have eyesight. This is men who don't have faith. Okay. We know this devil don't have faith. They say and claim, okay, they say that all Christians stand on this premises that God cannot be the author of false meaning and he cannot lie. Of course, the Most High can't lie. The Lord can do anything but lie. All right. Of course, that's true. Why the hell are you even questioning that? You damn evil devil. It says, if written by a perfect being, then it must not contradict itself, as a collection of books written by different men. So they want to sprinkle that point in there. Different times, they want to sprinkle that point in there. Over many centuries, they want to sprinkle that point in there. They say what? You would expect it to contradict each other. This is their carnal mindset. They don't believe that the Most High could work flawless works through men or perfect works through men. The word of the Lord is perfect, man. All right. And just because you don't understand it, you a damn fool. That don't mean go out here and make lies. All right, brothers got it.
I was about to say, just a quick precept to expound on that, saying that the Most High is a liar is blasphemy, and to even allude to that or assert that, I mean, that's how you got the spirit of Satan within you, because he doesn't understand that by thy words that gonna be thy shall be justified, and by thy words shall I be condemned. But it's the book of Numbers, chapter 23 and verse 19. God is not a man that he shall lie, neither the son of man that he should repent. Hath he said, and shall he not do it, or had he spoken and shall it not make it good? So all the words within this book and the volume of the book is going to come to pass. You read that in the book of Isaiah chapter 46 and verse 10, Isaiah chapter 55:11, and many other precepts as well. But to say and pronounce that the Most High is a liar, I mean, once again, that's how Esau was never really given the spirit. When you read, desire the sincere milk of the word, those that are drawn from that drink the milk and are drawn from the breast, in the book of Isaiah chapter 28 and verse 9 on down, that wasn't really for Esau. He doesn't know what that is. He can't really get into it. He doesn't even know what that really means. He might even take it literal, physical, but essentially that was for the nation of Israel. And they tell you that the secret things of the Lord were revealed unto us, and that's why we're going to go through this and reveal the true understanding.
Real quick precept. This is the book of Matthew, chapter 12, and verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give account thereof in the day of judgment. So ultimately, everything you say, the Lord is writing it down. Like it says in Jeremiah chapter 17, verse 1, he's writing down the sin of Judah with a pen of iron and the point of a diamond, right? So the Lord is writing down everything that every man is doing. Are you so-called Edomites, things you do in the dark, you think the Lord don't see? And the Lord sees them. He got an angel set out just for you, man, to watch. So the Lord's going to remember these accounts, these prideful statements, and these disrespectful words that's coming out of the nations. And of course, they don't believe in the Most High because it's never been in their spirit, man. Yeah, Yahweh wasn't dealing with the Edomites, man. Right? When was they known as, Yahweh, the God of Esau? It's never been that, man. It's never been that way. So they don't, in their mind, I mean, technically there is no God. If it's not Yahweh, then who else is it? It can't be no God. So they don't have any God to cleave to. And that's why through the spirit, they're all atheists. Christians believe that they believe in God, but they really don't believe in Yahushua. Right? When a black man come back, so-called black man come back and crack the sky, right? They not gonna say that's Jesus. They gonna say, well, that's an alien. That's a spirit. He must be a devil. They're not gonna say that's Jesus Christ. Right? So when they hear about the Bible and prophecy about destruction and judgment, they're not gonna think, that's the Lord. They're gonna say that's another God. So they don't really believe in the Most High, man. They're not truly in that understanding they think they are in.
Kind of quick point. I want to grab a quick preset. I want to go to Psalms 12 and 6, ultimate classic. All right. This is the book of Psalms, all right, chapter 12 and verse number 6. It says, the words of the Lord are pure words, as silver tried in a furnace of earth, purified 7 times. It says, thou shalt keep them, O Lord, thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever. All right, so I bring this out to say, how dare you, you filthy, wretched devil, even try to come to the conclusion that the Most High word is tainted. Okay, the words of the Most High is pure. These words is perfect, and it's been orchestrated and fitly framed together, man. So it's what? No contradictions, man. All right, the Lord say it's as if silver has been tried in the furnace 7 times, a complete amount of times. That's how pure this word is, man. And the Lord said, what? Thou shalt keep them, O Lord. Thou shalt preserve them from this generation forever, man. So yes, throughout centuries, the word of the Lord is going to be kept up with, and it's going to be put together fitly, finely framed together perfectly, man, with no contradictions, man, because it's pure. All right. And you got to, hey, look, you damn devil, you have to deal with that. You got to accept that. But of course, you don't want to accept it through your pride. You think you perfect. You think you God. You think you sit in God's seat, man. You as carnal man, you damn devil, y'all put together contradictions, man. Y'all put together unpure words, man. All these unrighteous decrees y'all make. Y'all contradict your own law system, man. You contradict your own damn constitution. That's a you problem. You imperfect and mortal man. Don't put that upon God. Don't put that upon his beloved son. That is a you problem. Okay, that's all I want to say on that.
Okay. Get into it.
Let's kick it off. Let's kick it off. Let's see what Frank has to bring to the table.
Con. So this is one of Frank's premises, or maybe is one of his disciples, I guess, whoever came up with it. The Sabbath day. All right. This is their premises on the Sabbath day. They put out Exodus 20 and 8. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. That's a commandment. Con, plain upon tables. Then they allude to Romans 14 and 5. One man esteemeth one day above another. Another esteemeth every day alike. Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. Okay. So like your brother's got a real quick one.
So when we read this, we obviously see that when it says the Sabbath day, they're trying to say basically, the Lord said to keep it. Now Paul is saying don't keep it. God is saying one thing in the Old Testament. Now he's saying something different in the New Testament. Well, let's get a quick precept. This is the book of Acts, chapter 24 and verse 14. But this I confess unto thee, that after the way which they call a heresy, so worship I the God of my fathers, believing all things which are written in the law and in the prophets. So Paul believed all things that was written in the law and in the prophets. He believed in Deuteronomy. He believed in Exodus. He believed in Nehemiah. He believed in a whole understanding of the prophets, the history, the wisdom books, and the accounts, man. So why in the world would Paul, a servant of God, a servant of Yahweh Shai, tell you don't keep the Sabbath day? Now, first and foremost, let's get a real quick precept on that. All right, let's get a real quick precept on it. This is Exodus. Let's get Exodus chapter 31. And let's start at 7. So let's start at so thing fire, man. Let's start at 17. It's the book of Exodus chapter 32. It's like 31 and verse 17. It is a sign between me and the children of Israel forever. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. So the Lord said, this is going to be with us forever. We're going to keep the Sabbath day literally forever in the kingdom of heaven, right? We keep the Sabbath day now, man. We kept the Sabbath day since it was given. So this is forever, man. It's not a holiday. right? You got people in the world, family in the world, my family in the world. They say, oh, you must be fasting today. It's the Sabbath day, or what? You can't eat no meat today, or it's the no meat day, right? It's not the so-called no meat day, right? Where we just put away all the meat and we eat potatoes and vegetables, and that's not why we keep the Sabbath day, right? The Sabbath day is meant to be holy, set apart. You don't work, you don't cook, you don't clean, right? You don't break any of the ordinances. So that's the Sabbath day is meant to be with us forever, man. So I'm gonna let brothers get in there, but kind of, man, that makes no sense.
Kind of.
Con.
Oh, go ahead, Ken.
So like, my bad. Just one quick preset. I'm just grab a classic real quick. I'm gonna go to Romans 3:31. Uh, real quick. All right. So this book of Romans, chapter 3 and verse 31. Of course, it has its proper context, but we're gonna righteously use this skillfully. It says, "What do we then make void the law through faith? God forbid we establish the law." So the main point I would like on this precept is the fact that Paul is letting it be known that we do establish the law. So I said it to say, Paul, of course, is not going to look at Exodus 20:8 and say, I'm going to do my own thing. Whoever's persuaded to do their own thing, do as you see fit. No. And that's a problem when people say that the Bible contradict. You ruin the whole role. Because, okay, that Exodus 28 says that, then y'all put that in Romans 14, and then we have this in Romans 3. Well, which one is it? Law or no law? And you ruin the whole Bible because you don't have the understanding. Paul established, he said we established the law, meaning what? We stand firm. We know the law. We put that into effect. All right, Paul and Barnabas in Acts the 15th chapter was by the elders given certain commandments for Gentile-minded Israelites to keep that were babes in this thing, man. Okay, so Paul is familiar with the law. He established the law. He stands on the law. He's not a guy that, just sees the law and just say, manipulate it how they trying to say it. He just say, do what you want to do. No, that's madness. All right, let me get one more real quick. So Paul, he said we established the law. We don't make void the law. We don't throw it away and say every man be persuaded and do as you see fit. So like, yeah. I want to get this other classic real quick. 1 Corinthians 14:37. Paul says what? It says, if any man think himself to be a prophet or spiritual, let him acknowledge that the things that I write unto you are the commandments of the Lord. But if a man be ignorant, let him be ignorant. So you got to understand, when Paul is writing, Paul is in no wise is never telling anybody, don't keep the commandments of God. He said, if you say you're a prophet, if you deem yourself to be spiritual, well, you need to acknowledge the fact that what I'm writing to the people without a shadow of a doubt is the commandments of God. I'm not telling nobody not to do the commandments. I'm not telling nobody to do away with the Shabbat if that's how you're feeling, your little brain. All right, that's madness. So don't go to Romans and try to misconstrue Paul's words. Brothers got it.
And also, quick point, for Jake and Eve, y'all gotta understand that to understand Paul, you must understand the Old Testament and the law, because like it tells you in Second Peter chapter 3:15 on down, that there are a lot of people that are gonna rest and struggle. That's what obviously rest means. And because for the most part they're unstudied and unlearned, and they're gonna struggle with these scriptures. Then it tells them they're unstable as well. One thing about Paul, he does not have the authority to change the law of the Most High God. He does not have the power to do so as well. As a matter of fact, he was chosen to be, a mighty vessel when you read Acts the 9th chapter. But how can, once again, when you go back to this contradiction, how can it say that when Paul himself kept the Sabbath day in Acts 17th chapter and Acts 18th chapter, when he said, I must keep the feast and be up at Pentecost, Acts the 20th chapter, and kept a Nazarite vow in Acts the 21st chapter. All of these things, and there's much more, Paul kept these things which were in the law. And like initially stated in Romans the 3rd chapter, we established the law. So at the end of the day, the question that people should be asking is, what does Paul mean by this? Because the law will never be done away with. You got Christians that immediately want to jump to Paul, but like Kadar brought out, what is the curriculum? What is the course that Paul taught? The law and the prophets. Because clearly they didn't have the New Testament around that time. So we got to know, what is the reference that Paul is using to get his understanding to explain to these churches. But just a quick precept on the law before we dive into this. The book of Baruch, chapter 4 and verse 1, it says, "This is the book of the commandments of the Most High, and the law that endureth forever. All they that keep it shall come to life, but such shall leave it shall die." And that's the quick point I want to make. It said the law that endureth forever. The law is not going anywhere. And none of the men of the Lord was moving in that spirit to where they had the authority to change or do anything to the law. As a matter of fact, that's sin. Thou shalt not add nor take away unto Deuteronomy 4 and verse 2, Revelation 22:18 on down, and many other precepts. So, brothers can dive into it real quick.
I just I just wanted to make the quick point that Yahushua, he kept the law, like Ezekiel just alluded to, as John 10 and 22, he kept the feast of dedication. That's John the 7th chapter. He kept the feast of tabernacles. I mean, he kept the Passover. He had fringes on his garment. All right, so you have Yahushua, he kept the law as well. Okay, and Yahushua is the one who taught Paul. Okay. So I ain't want to be too long-winded, dive into every little jot and tittle. But how can Paul be taught by Yahushua? Yahushua kept the commandments himself, and then Paul just write letters and just tell people do whatever you want. So that's why it greatly frustrates me, when people want to say that the Bible contradict, when emphatically it does not contradict. But when you have people that come up with that folly, it just ruins the taste of the reader. Because now all they got is these contradictions on their mind. Now it steer people away from the Bible, man. All right, but that's all I wanted to say.
And a real quick point, on a carnal level, Paul had a hierarchy, right? When you read Acts, the 15th to 16th chapter, when he had a question about the circumcision, he went to Peter. He went to the church. So, and we know Peter is a rock. He's teaching to the Jews. Imagine Paul came back and he said, "Yeah, I've been teaching men they can break the Sabbath day." And Peter kind of said, "Yeah, well, Kanye, there's a point, grace and mercy." Peter not saying grace and mercy to the Sabbath day. Yeah, you do got a point. Yahushua, yeah, it is mercy. And well, I was thinking about a pot pie today, and I was thinking about like that. That's not how the conversations go, right? It was an order. Paul, to like Peter, James, and John, like Paul says, were like pillars of the church, right? So they went back, and he's like Paul went back, him and another brother he was with, to ask questions about it. But I want to go into this context. This is Romans 14. Brothers can get it. Romans 14 and start at 1. Because you got to break down the whole context. Romans is a epistle, right? The Lord put the Spirit on Paul, right, to be the preacher to the Gentiles, meaning he's breaking down, giving the understanding to the Israelites who don't have the understanding, and grafting them back then through the Spirit of Yahushua and through the law. They need both, right? So let's break down Romans chapter 14 and verse 1. It says, "Him that is weak in the faith receive ye, but not to doubtful disputations." Meaning what? You got certain brothers. You got a disciple called Thomas the Doubter, right? Meaning he was kind of he had questions about stuff. He's inquisitive, right? And the Lord was dealing with Thomas, man. Right? He said, "Is that you really, Yahushua?" And he had his hand open. He said, "Let me poke a hole through your hand. Is that really you?" And he saw that was Yahushua. So every brother that doubt don't mean he just, it's wicked. It's wicked. He might not have an understanding. He might need some faith. He might need a brother to build him up. But you don't want to receive that brother to now. He's so doubtful. He don't believe in the Most High. Now he's looking at every feast day as nothing. It's a regular day. What's the big deal? What's the purpose of new moon? It's the same day. The sun is the same. You want to build that brother up. You can go back to that. Let's go to that disputation. Get the definition of disputation. All right. Let's get that disputation up on the screen real quick. I'm trying to see that. I can't really see it. You can read it off real quick. I can't really see it on my end. Real small. You know what I'm saying?
I'll go back to the original one first. Just the definition of disputation to begin with. Disputation. A debate or argument, a discussion, argument, arguing. All right. So that's what a doubtful disputation essentially would be debates and or arguments or discussions that bring about a lack of faith, not furthering of faith. So you don't want to have doubtful disputations amongst babes because it could break their faith.
Mm-hmm. So like the brother was saying, imagine just like we read all throughout the epistles, you know, brothers is having a heated debate about food sacrifice on idols. Oh man, I don't think you should eat that, brother. Well, why not? Why shouldn't I eat that? Brother, it was sacrificed to Zeus. Well, why should I eat it? If it's sacrificed to Zeus, then it's idolatry. Now they both confused and they trying to figure out. They might say, "Hey, both of these guys ain't real." You know, I don't believe in either or, man. The chicken is here. What? This I see chicken. Chicken is here. Cook, eat. It's edible. So you don't want to have these doubtful disputations. Now, brothers just they completely throw it all away, right? Let's keep reading Romans 14. Romans 14 and 2. For one believeth that he may eat all things. Another who is weak eateth herb. Now, this all things, this is not going until when you go in your backyard and you look at any creeping thing, you pick it up and you put it in a pot. Right? It's not saying that. It's not saying if I go in my backyard and I see a dead corpse, I can eat it. You don't literally eat all things. This is talking about all things that's clean and lawful because Paul believed in all things that was written in the law of the prophets. So all these things going into all clean meats. Another who is weak eat of herbs because meaning the brother might literally think that that steak that you got and you offered it in the damn temple of Zeus, they cutting the head off. They saying, they speaking Greek, and they kind of offer it up to Zeus, and they wrap it up in a plastic bag and sell it and say, yeah, sold by Zeus. They think that that's literally given to Zeus, man. And he ate it for breakfast, right? He has a daily count of chickens he eats, and then he gives the rest to his servants. That's what somebody might see. So he said, you know what? I'm not going to eat any of these meats. I'm going to just be a vegetarian. But that's a weak faith because we know Zeus is not a real God. Allah is not a real God. These deities are not real. So his faith is weak at that moment. He don't know what to do. Right? Let's keep reading verse 3. Let not him that eateth despise him that eateth not. Right. So meaning if I see a brother, if I see some so-called sacrifice unto idols, and I know that Allah is not a real God, I pray over it, ask the Lord to protect it, and I eat it. And another brother say, "Well, hold on, brother, that's sacrifice to a God." I can't kind of start looking at it. Yeah, this low valuable God, but he has no faith. He don't even believe is Yahweh even his God. He's probably still a Greek. He's still repentant. What about look at the brothers that he's still repentant? It's not he's still repentant. He just don't have understanding. He's not built up in the faith yet to look past that carnal deity, right? It says, and let not him which eateth not judge him that eateth, for God have received him. Right? Meaning you can't be getting on that brother for him doing that because he's on a different level of faith. Right? And you Christians, you probably break that down as, oh yeah, you can eat whatever because God receiveth him. Don't judge nobody. It's not saying don't judge nobody. Right? That's not what it's saying. It's talking about what we were just breaking it down. Verse 4, who art thou that judges another man's servant? To his own master he stand up or follow. Who are you to start judging another man's servant? And what's that talking about? Because we are the servants of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Right? That's Leviticus 25 and the 55th verse. Right? The Israelites are the servants of the Most High. So nevertheless, this is not saying you can start judging and getting on the church and watching they plate. Now you're a damn plate watcher. Right, oh, hold on, brother. I seen where you came from last week. Yeah, I saw you over there in the temple of Artemis. Shame on you. Now that's off. You can't be. Why are you judging Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah's servant, man? He's not a sin. He's not going off. He wasn't eating pork, right? So let's keep reading. Yea, he shall be holding up, for God is able to make him stand. Verse 5. One man esteemeth one day above another esteemeth every day alike. I mean, what? When we go out there and we teach brothers, and we teach Israel, in due time. You got to keep the new moon. You got to keep the Passover. You have to keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You have to keep the Feast of Pentecost or the Feast of Weeks. That, in another person's mind, they can say, well, I mean, what's the difference? The sun came up, right? It still rained that day, right? The birds are chirping, the wind is blowing. What's the difference? So one person can say, hey, we know through the spirit this day is above all day. Another person can say, well, hey, it's just a regular day to me. What is Paul saying? Let every man be fully persuaded in his own mind. This is not saying let every man break the Sabbath. Let every man defile the holy day. Let every man forget the ordinances of God. It's not saying that. It's saying, brother, if you persuaded and you're headstrong and you're low in the faith and you think every day is the same day, hey, brother, maybe you need time to think about it. Maybe you need time to rest on it. Now, that's not saying that you can just start breaking the Sabbath now. You don't think Paul would tell that brother, hey, you still need to keep the new moon? Paul just kind of, yeah. That brother, he do his theme of the new moon as a regular day. Yeah, so he do what he do. Yeah, I know it's the Lord's Passover, right? I know it's midnight and the lamb is cooking. And he just said, you know what, hey, it's a normal day to me. Yeah, we just let him do what he do. No, it's not no we let him do what he do. It's saying is let every man, if they got their own opinion, let that man have his own opinion, man. Until he get built up and get to understand it. Brothers got it.
I just wanted to make a quick point. I want to go to Acts 18. With Paul. And just show that Paul, he wasn't moving off the premises of if he was so-called persuaded or not. So go down to the book of Acts chapter 18, and I'm gonna start at let me get straight to the point. I'm gonna start at 20. It says, when they desired him to tarry longer with them, he consented not. So they wanted Paul to stay a little bit longer, but he said, look, I can't do that. It says, but bade them farewell, saying, I must by all means keep this feast that cometh in Jerusalem, but I will return again unto you if God will. And he sailed from Ephesus. So Paul wasn't saying, I'll think about it. If I'm persuaded enough to go keep the feast, I'll do it. I'll do it. It's a regular day. If I'm persuaded. No, that wasn't Paul's premises. He said, look, goddammit, I must by all means, I have to keep this feast. And it's 3 times where you got to appear in Jerusalem, man. Passover, Tabernacles, and Pentecost. You have to go. You don't have a choice. It don't matter. Paul kind of say, look, I wasn't persuaded this year. Maybe next year. No, no, hell no. All right. Like what Dart eloquently broke down, his point and premises in Romans 14 is not if you should keep the law or not. That wasn't even a point. It's not if you persuaded to keep the law. And that's where you damn Edomite fools got it all wrong, trying to say it's a contradiction, when emphatically it's not. That wasn't the point. Paul ain't say keep it if you want to keep it, but if you don't want to keep the commandments, then you don't have to. No, that's not even what he's getting at all. Okay, it's not even the point. All right, so Paul, when his feast day came about, Paul said straight up and down, look, I must by all means go here. I have to. All right, brothers got it.
Real quick. And then when you read the next verse, this is Romans 14:6. He that regardeth the day regardeth unto Yahweh. Right? Meaning he have the understanding, he knows that this day, I mean, we have to get it. Get Sirach chapter 33 and verse 7. Get Sirach chapter 33 verse 7. You gotta go precept upon precept, line upon line. Let's get Sirach chapter 33 and verse 7. And this is why you need to read the Apocrypha. You're sitting up there with missing 14 books. That's where your understanding all jammed up. Right? Let's get Sirach chapter 33, and I'm gonna start at 7. Why doeth one day excel another, when as all the light of every day in the year is of the sun? By the knowledge of the Lord they were distinguished, and he altered seasons and feasts. Meaning we know every day is the same. Brother, we can see that. But the point is, the knowledge of the Lord shows us that we should keep that feast day. You wouldn't be keeping July 4th if America didn't tell you. You wouldn't be keeping a Memorial Day, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Christmas Day Eve if somebody didn't put that knowledge into your mind. You would never keep any holy day or any holiday. So if you can't take the knowledge of the white man and then kind of keep his feast days, but don't keep the Lord's feast days, because it was given to you by knowledge. You either got it by Satan, right, the so-called devil, the white man, or you got it by Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Let's keep reading. Verse 9. Some of them have he made high days and hallowed them, and some of them have he made ordinary days. So certain days supposed to just be normal days, right? Well, like damn Tuesday. Every Tuesday is a normal day. But the Lord said the seventh day is a Sabbath day, right? So let's keep reading. Let's go back to Romans 14. Let's book of Romans chapter 14, and let's start at 6. He that regardeth the day regardeth unto the Lord, right? Meaning, if you know that this is the day, you know this is the holy new moon, you keep that. You praise Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You turn him in righteousness. You be merry, right? And he that regardeth not the day, to the Lord he doeth not regard it. What is that saying? That's not saying, oh yeah, to the Lord, let him never. That's saying that, hey, if he don't regard that day, he not regarding the Lord. Right? That's on him. He going off. Right? He's going off. He every day's the same. I don't see the problem. That brother gotta grow. He's a he don't know no better. Right? To the Lord, he doeth not regard it. He that eateth to the Lord, right? Meaning when we eat, some brothers pray over these things. And all praise to the Most High, call it Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. You praise the Most High, man. You get praise to the Lord. It says, thanks. And he that eateth not to the Lord, he eateth not and giveth not thanks, right? Meaning he ain't giving thanks to the Most High. That's on him. I don't know about this. This ain't about the Most High. It's okay. All right. Well, hey, that's what you don't want to do. That's what you don't want to do. But you got to get built up so you can see past that. I don't know if brothers got any closing points for we move on.
I got a closing point. Just to expound on brothers' points. Essentially, that's pretty much what we and brothers do on the highways and byways. When you see, the sheep and you edify them, essentially all you're doing is really giving them the starter pack. You're not going into a Revelation 13 breakdown, Revelation 12, and the you're not going into the statue in Daniel 2, and all the other beasts in Daniel 7, and so on and so forth. You essentially just give them the basic necessities and basic understanding and this truth. No pork, the dress code for a man, for a woman, obviously keep the Sabbath day, how to pray, so on and so forth, just the basic necessities. So, you don't want to just be with the sheep and then just obviously they're coming into this thing. And then every single time, it's a high holy day. Now it's an argument. Now it's a debate on how you should keep it, why you should keep it. That's why in Acts the 15th chapter, I'm gonna go to it real quick, just Acts chapter 15 and verse 19. Wherefore my sentence is that we trouble not them which from among the Gentiles are turned to God, because essentially, you got the Israelites converting back into their nationality, bethinking themselves and turning back to the law and the understanding thereof. Verse 20, but that we write unto them that they abstain from pollution of idols, from fornication, and from things strangled, and from blood. Now, obviously, that's another cut to Christianity just within itself, because all of these things, just even on a basic level, are found within the law. So, obviously it's not talking about, just not keeping the Sabbath day, and Paul changed the Sabbath day when he himself would be a Sabbath day. Or I say he was be himself. He himself kept the Sabbath day, Salakia. And once again, he does not have the authority. Paul said, be ye follower of me as I am of Christ. So is he being a hypocrite when he tells you something else and this tells this church this, but the other church he's telling them something different? No. That's that's confusion, that's madness. So that's it on that.
God, and yeah, that was another one of the points I was gonna make. It would just be preposterous for Paul to tell you to be persuaded if you persuaded, while he's showing that he's keeping the law without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, that would just be madness. Let's go to Acts 17. I want to get what Ezekiel quoted. This book of Acts chapter 17. I'm gonna start at I'll start right at verse 1. And then I got another precept after this. It says, now when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica, where was a synagogue of the Jews. And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures. So why the hell is Paul keeping the Shabbat as his manner was? This is his regular. He doing his due. He keeping the Shabbat. And then he go tell other men, look, only if you persuaded. Only if you feel in your heart that this is the right thing to do. Why the hell would no, Paul's not a hypocrite. And he dang sure not about to contradict himself. Here he is keeping the Shabbat fervent week in, week out. But then he tell other people, only if you're persuaded. Only if you feel that's right in your heart. I mean, that's just madness. That don't make no sense. And then I want to go to this account with Paul. And let's see when Paul was charged to do something according to the law. Let's see if he took upon the approach. Oh, only if I'm persuaded. Let's see. All right, this book of Acts chapter 21. And I want to start at this whole thing fire. This whole thing fire. I'm gonna start at 22. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 23. This Acts 21 and 23. It says, "What is it therefore? The multitude must needs come together, for they will hear that thou art come. Do therefore this what we that we say to thee. We have 4 men which have a vow on them." And this is the elders telling him what to do. They're telling Paul, to go fulfill his vow, his Nazarite vow, and he got 4 other men with him, that must needs do the same thing. And I want to go to 18 real quick. It says, "And the day following, Paul went in with us unto James, and all the elders were present." So he getting this decree from all the elders, man. All right. It says, well, I'm reading 23 again. "Do therefore this that we say to thee. We have 4 men which have a vow on them." And the Most High told us to keep the Shabbat. They use Exodus 20 and 8. So we got to do therefore what the Lord told us to do. Okay. It says, verse 24, "Them take and purify thyself with them, and be at charges with them, that they may shave their heads, and all may know that those things whereof they were informed concerning thee are nothing, but that thou thyself also walkest orderly and keepest the law." So they saying, look, Paul, look, go show them, man. Show them better. Show them that the bull crap that they heard about you, that was madness. Let them know that you walk orderly and you keep the law too. And you're not just telling men, be persuaded if you want to. Man, no. They told him straight up, look, this you go do, King. Show them that you do keep the law and you walk orderly. All right, you keep the Shabbat. You keep the Nazarite vow and the stipulations that pertain to it. Show them. It says what? Verse 25, "As touching the Gentiles which believe, we have written and concluded that they observe no such thing, save only that they keep themselves from things offered to idols, and from fornication, and from strangle, and from fornication." Then Paul took them in, and the next day, purifying himself with them, entered into the temple to signify the accomplishment of the days of purification, until that an offering should be offered for every one of them. So Paul did exactly what he was told to do. And he know the law of the Nazarites. He know that anyway. Paul didn't rebuttal and say, well, look, I'm not persuaded this time. Let all men be persuaded, Mr. Elders. And it's folly, man. Paul said, Con, I'm going to make that happen. All right. And James and the elders, they didn't say, look, we're going to tell you what to do. And look, let you and the 4 men be persuaded. Only if you are persuaded to do so. You don't have to really, you don't have to do it if you're not persuaded. It's your choice. We know what the law is saying in number 6, but it's totally up to you. All right. We want you to show that you walk orderly and after the law, but if you're persuaded not to do so, then by no means you don't have to do it. I mean, they didn't tell him that foolishness and folly. Paul was keeping the law, and he made that known. And when he was charged to do something according to the law, it had nothing to do with him being or not being persuaded. Playing upon the tables, man. Brothers got it.
Let's kind of go to the next one.
Okay.
I gotta pull it back up. So yeah, we got, I don't know if they can see it. We got to kind of pull it back up. We got to go into this, man. And sometimes, it takes a lot of precepts. It's not every. It might not take one precept to get that demon up off you. It might take three precepts, three accounts, history, words, definitions. It might take a lot of different things to get you to understand it, right? So sometimes you got to give you that whole world, man. So it just completely cannot mean what they are saying. So let's get this other one, right? The permanence of earth. Ecclesiastes 1 and 4, the earth abideth forever. Second Peter, it said the earth is gonna be burned. So let's first and foremost, I'm gonna get a precept. This is a First Corinthians, right? Chapter 13. It's like the Second Corinthians, chapter 13. And let's start at verse 1. This is the third time I am coming to you. In the mouth of two or three witnesses shall every word be established. Meaning what? Peter was around, Paul was around, John the Revelator, right? Jude, all these mighty men was around. So we had to get an account. If we think Peter, who came a little later, who walked with Yahweh Shai, is saying something against the Old Testament he believed in, we got to really examine it. We got to see witnesses. We got to get accounts. We got to see the proof, right? So let's go to that in the King James Version. Let's get the book of Second Peter, right? Chapter 3. And let's start at verse 10. Because Ecclesiastes said the earth endure forever. And that's true. Right? The earth is supposed to be a utopia. You read that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon, right? So it was supposed to be a utopia. It was meant to be here forever, right? And it's going to be here forever. So this Second Peter chapter 3, and let's start at 10. Let's start at 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night. And what is that saying? That's not saying, oh, the day of the Lord is going to come when something's going to happen randomly at night. Boom, bow, bam. No, it's not saying that. It's saying the Lord is going to come at a time when it's unexpected. Thieves come in at 3, 5, 4 a.m. when you're asleep. So it's saying the Lord's going to come at a time when you're lost in the world of darkness and the Lord all of a sudden come back because you're so distracted. In the which the heavens shall pass away. Now, what does that mean? Oh, the heaven's going to, oh, the heaven. It's not talking about literally the sky and heaven is going to pass away, right? And I'm going to get a precept on that in a second. Shall pass away with great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. And what is that talking about? What we use? We use stone, we use brick, we use mortar, we use slime, we use all these different things to build up our houses. It says the earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. Burned up doesn't mean that it's going to be destroyed forever and we never going to use it. Sodom and Gomorrah, like it says in many precepts, that it's going to be burning forever. Is it literally burning forever? That'd be one of the seven great wonders of the world. Fire still raining down since Genesis on Sodom and Gomorrah. No, it's not literally saying that. The Lord destroyed it, filled it up with salt pits and nettles and sulfur. So you might walk over it, you might trip, you might start a fire, man. It's very flammable, right? You can't build anything with sulfur, right? So it's talking about it's all gonna be destroyed, but it doesn't mean literally destroy like broke off, made out of matter, poof pow be gone. It's not saying that. The Lord's not about to poof pow to heaven and earth. And why is he destroying heaven? What's the point of the Lord passing away heaven? Literally. No, he's not literally going to pass away heaven. So let's read that we'll understand. In 2 Peter chapter 3 and verse 10, but the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise. Now let's get a precept. Go to the book of Matthew, right, chapter 11, and let's start at 23. The book of Matthew, chapter 11, and verse 23. And it reads, and thou Capernaum, which are exalted unto heaven, shall be brought down to hell. So the Lord said, at Capernaum, this city in the northern kingdom area, this whole city is going to be brought down to hell. So again, when was the city of Capernaum? The Lord said he got the shoe breakers. The whole reason the Lord, Moses knew how to make the tabernacle, make the shoe bread, is because he's seen it in the vision of heaven. So outside of the altar of incense, you got the temple, and then you got the city of Capernaum. sitting up there in heaven. That's not what's going on. It's saying Capernaum is in a higher state. Heaven would mean it's on a higher level, right? It's saying you're in heaven, you're in a higher state, but it's going to be brought down to hell. Meaning what? It's going to be brought down to destruction. It's going to be desolate. Capernaum is not forever going to be destroyed, and nobody can walk through Capernaum. That's not the breakdown. It's going to be destroyed and brought to a lower state. It says, for if the mighty works which have been done in thee had been done in Sodom, it would have remained unto this day. Right? And look at Sodom. Like I said, it's not forever burning. It's not literally forever burning. It's going to be brought to a lower state. Now, when you go back to Second Peter, the third chapter, and let's start at in the middle. And the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. What is the works therein? It's talking about this rulership. That's Second Ezra chapter 6 and verse 9. Right? The rulership is going to be destroyed. Your so-called Greek figures, right? Your damn Greek guys. The what's the name of that damn woman in America? Your Lady Liberty.
That Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, your Lady Liberty, your Roman Colosseum, right? The Leaning Tower, the walls of Babylon, all that's going to be destroyed. All of it's going to be burnt down because it's going to be a famine of the word. It's going to be destruction going on. So it's not going to be, it's going to be insurrection, city to city. So it's not going to be a level of rulership going on. All this going to get destroyed. Peter is saying, hey, all this stuff going to get burnt up with fervent, serious heat, man. It's going to hit brothers in the middle of the night. Why are you focused on what else? Because all this is going to be destroyed. That's all he's saying. He's not saying that the earth is going to burn forever, right? The Lord's going to poop pow, forget Genesis, forget the first, the second, and third, and fourth, and fifth day. I'm going to destroy all of the earth and all of heaven for no reason. It's not what it's saying. I'm going to let brothers get in this.
Come, I'm gonna let I not go real quick.
Yeah, I just had a quick point. Just wanted to touch on it. Like the brother said, this current dominion and rulership, because that's what heaven is symbolic for. Even earth as well, even symbolic for, it's defiled, it's disgusting, it need to be purged. All right, the Lord need to bring about new dominion, new rulership. All right, a new righteous kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness. So I just want to get a quick precept on that. It's the book of I'm gonna get off the sword. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 24, and verse number 5. It says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. So that's how the earth is defiled, because of the inhabitants, because of evil men and their wicked works and their wicked ways. So when the Lord say he need to make, he gonna make new heavens and a new earth, he's gonna replenish and refresh the dominion and the rulership, and he's gonna set up his son kingdom, man. He gonna set up Yahweh Shah kingdom wherein dwelleth righteousness, man. And the whole earth could be ruled in righteousness, man. All right. It says what? Because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant, man. All right. So this is why the earth has to be purged. This is why it has to be renewed and refreshed. The earth is going to last forever. The earth will never just be destroyed, like what Dar just harped on, man. But it will be refreshed. So that's what it means by new heavens and new earth. It'll be refreshed with new dominion and new rulership, man. A new kingdom. All right. And then even on a physical level, the earth still won't even be destroyed. But when you read Peter, it'll be purged by fire. All right. It'll be purged by fire, man. It'll be cleansed. It'll be renewed. It will not be completely obliterated and destroyed. And the Lord got to make a so-called whole new planet earth all over again. No, the earth will abide forever. All right. So they don't understand the hip talk or the lingo. All right, when it say new heavens and new earth, it's not saying a whole new literal earth, man. It's gonna be refreshed. Okay. You got it, King.
King. Just a few points. For Peter, really when you go into the scripture, obviously, the Edom, the Edomite is trying to make the quintessential point that for the most part, because it says the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the earth also, and the works therein shall be burnt up. For some reason, he just asserts that, well, there's not going to be a earth, so if the earth abideth forever, this is what Peter said, and that's the simplicity of the heathen. They truly don't understand the spirit of the Lord. They don't understand the mysteries. Neither was it ever given to them. And also, just another quick point, that would say that Peter is going against even Yahweh Shai. Because Yahweh Shai said, in the prayer, in our Father prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. So what earth was that talking about? That's already he's cut right there for the most part. But that's why it's truly beautiful to get the precepts and the understanding of and the wisdom, of the ancient, because now we can go through these precepts and understand, okay, this is what it's talking about. This is why it's talking about. All right, this is why it says this is what it's talking about, the rulership, the dominion, because it also tells you in Daniel 7 and verse 18 that the saints of the most high shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So how are they going to do that? And what kingdom is that? Is it going to be a whole new planet Earth? And where is that planet going to come from? And can we see that within the scriptures? That's why, like Quadar said at the beginning of the video, you got to truly prove all things. And you got to go within these things and examine them and seek out these things. Like it tells you in Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 2. But also to make another quick point on the eternal fire and whatnot, what they thinking, let's get a quick precept. It's the book of Jude, chapter 1 and verse 7. It says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah, the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, that's the point, are set forth an example, suffering vengeance of the eternal fire. Now, we obviously know that that's metaphorical because today we know that where Sodom and Gomorrah resides, it has a high sulfur rate, of course. Even archaeologists understand that, but it's not literally on fire. It's not literally burning even into this day right now. Can't just go over there and just nobody go over there is still on fire. The Most High is still throwing down fire and brimstone out of heaven. No, you don't see that, and that's folly. So obviously we understand that when it's talking about the fire in Second Peter the third chapter, we understand it's going to burn for a certain dispensation of time. And then when you go through the precepts, Isaiah 61, Isaiah 63, Isaiah 14, Micah 2. I said Micah 2, Micah 4, Isaiah 2, Isaiah the 13th chapter, that at the end of the day, all the heathens, they're going to take all, their riches and build all the waste places for us, Lord Most High willing, the elect of Israel. And guess what? We're going to be the top ruling kingdom. We're going to have the rulership at that time. How do we know that? It's the book of Revelation, chapter 21 and verse 1. And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there were no more sea. Right? In the first heaven and first earth, that's talking about all these other nations and dominions and powers. They're going to be thrown out because Israel's going to return to their highest state. Like Kadar quoted in 2nd Ezra 6 and 9. Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Verse 2, and I John saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. So now the kingdom of heaven is going to be on earth, where Israel is in rulership, and that earth is going to be the earth that we're standing on. And that also ties into the prophecies in Daniel the second chapter and Daniel the second chapter and seventh chapter, right? Where Israel is going to be back on top, and Yahweh Shai is ruling as king on earth. So obviously, when we go back to Second Peter chapter 3, go back to it, and then obviously when you even read further down, Peter even expounds on the same point, relishing that of course the Edomite just missed that because all he wants to do is try to disprove the Bible, and he has obviously no understanding. um it's the book of Second Peter chapter 3 and verse 13. It says, nevertheless, we according to his promise. So this is a promise. This is going to happen. It's not something that Esau can just decimate and just take away and just make up like, oh no, no, we just no, that's not what's going on here. It says, look for new heavens and a new earth, meaning new rulership, new power structure, wherein dwelleth righteousness, because obviously, the earth is given to the hands of the wicked currently. So, just I'm gonna kind of land on that and let brothers either continue to expound or we can go to the next point. But that's all that's pretty much talking about, and Esau doesn't know what's going on.
I just wanted to let me back and make a quick point too. Before you even get all the way to where we just broke down, the Lord already explained the so-called physical end of the stick even before you even get there to verse 10. And this Edomite just chose to skip past that. This is the book of 2 Peter chapter 3. I'm going to start at verse 5. It says, for this they willingly are ignorant of, that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of the water and in the water, whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. Now, did the literal world perish when the flood happened? No. The earth been since old, man. The heavens been since old. And on the physical level, it really flooded. Did the whole earth disappear? No. The evil and wickedness was rooted out, man. All right. That's what happened. The physical earth still abided. How do we know that? Because when the waters abated, you've seen the mountains. So where the hell did the earth go then? Even on a physical level. So that's how you know when you read down to Peter, that's not even literal. It's more spiritual, man. It says what? Verse, I'm gonna read 6 again. Whereby the world that then was, being overflowed with water, perished. But the heavens and the earth, which are now. So hold the hell on. If how the heavens and the earth is still here. I thought it was drawn with water and it disappeared. So now we need to start it all over. And the earth abided forever. Then another scripture say it don't abide forever. So which one is it? Where the hell did it go? What happened? And that's how people's mind get all scrambled and jambled up when idiots such as this Edomite try to say the Bible contradict. When you really just need to shut up and get the Bible out of your hands, man. All right. You don't know the breakdown. You don't know the understanding, and you overthrowing the people. All you got to do is read and comprehend and break it down in context. All right. I'm reading it again. It says, but the heavens and the earth, which are now by the same word, are kept in store, reserved unto fire against the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. So the earth and heaven still here. They never went nowhere. All they do is get cleansed and repurged, and the wicked get rooted out. That's how that go, even on a physical level. And this the physical before it even gets spiritual, man. And guess what? It's really spiritual the whole way through, because when you bring physical destruction, thermonuclear fire, only the wicked gonna be destroyed any damn way, and the righteous gonna be kept alive. So you can have that refreshness of dominion, power, and rulership, man. All right, the Lord physically flooded the earth back then. All right, and he rooted out the wicked, and he refreshed it. He gonna purge this thing with fire on this go around. All right, straight up and down on a physical level through thermonuclear fire. And the evil and wicked dominions and rulerships will be destroyed, and righteous ones will be set up. And what is that righteous dominion and rulership? Yahushua kingdom, man. The nation of Israel being on high. So no, the Bible does not contradict. When Ecclesiastes 1:4 said that the earth abided forever, then you go to 2 Peter 3:10 and it say new heavens, new earth. That is not a contradiction. On a physical, literal level, the earth will literally abide forever. Through a flood, through thermonuclear destruction, on a physical level, the earth is still going to be here. Wicked men will be destroyed and rooted out. Wicked rulership and dominions and thrones will be thrown down, and new ones will be set up. That is the new heavens and the new earth. It will be refreshed. It will be purged. It will be renewed. That's all it's going into.
So we're going to go on to the next one. We'll get 3 for completion. Let's go on to the next one. Let's deal with Frank, man, because Frank, he meditated on this. Frank was up all night, right? He was looking up accounts. He was going into the different languages, the different Bibles, man. Frank was trying to figure this thing out, man. Frank was, scratching his head, and he lost his beard somehow. Wonder how he did that, right? Probably plucking out his beard, stressing, trying to figure stuff out. Oh, I can't really use that, so let me try to use. Oh, damn, that'll work. So I'm gonna use this. So let's get to seeing God. Right, let's nail it in the house. All right. But if you can read that, you can. I can kind of look small on my end. Look small.
Frank pissed me off. That's what Franklin did. This Frank gonna get jammed up, boy. This is Frank, or whoever he paid to type this crap up. This is their stance now on seeing God. They chose to go to Genesis 32:30. And, they want to harp on, I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. This is what they want to harp on in Genesis 32:30. And in John 1:18, here's the contradictory point in their point of view. No man have seen God at any time. Now, this is a great deal of witchcraft here, man. This is pure evil and witchcraft. Because humbly speaking, even most scholars, whether they be Esau or Jake or whatever, in context of Genesis 32 and 30, even they understand, the milk level of comprehension that this is going into and how not literal this is, man. Okay. But this is evil right here. So they chose John, all right, 1:18 to say that, okay, look, ain't nobody seen God at any time. Okay, well, it says in the Bible, nobody seen God. So what are they talking about in Genesis 32 and 30, where this guy says, I seen God face to face? Boom, contradiction. No explanations, no reasoning. They just see one precept say one thing and another precept say another thing, and then boom, they feed that to the people and say, yeah, this is why you don't believe in God. Be an atheist. All right, this is witchcraft. This is evil. All right, this is off.
Right. Denounce your God. I've showed you his faults. Right. I want to make a quick point, man. When you read, let's go to Genesis. Let's go to Genesis. Get that Genesis 32 and 28, man. First and foremost, right? Like the brother said, this is obviously an angel. So how could you see God if you're seeing an angel? How could I see Ezekiel if I'm seeing his brother? I'm not seeing Ezekiel. I'm not seeing. How can I see Ezekiel if I'm seeing his servant? I'm not seeing Ezekiel. I'm seeing the servant. Ezekiel's servant. If I seen that face as if I seen Ezekiel, it's not saying. They don't make sense. I will only either see Ezekiel or I will see his servant. Right. So Genesis 32. Let's start at 28. Yeah, 28. And he said, it's like I'm gonna start up a little bit. Let's start at 30. Sorry, Genesis 28 and 30. And Jacob called the name of the place Peniel, for I have seen God face to face, and my life is preserved. Now, first and foremost, like I always harp on, when you read that word God, it doesn't always mean literally the physical embodiment of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai. This word God right here just means power, right? It means power, literally power, rulership, authority, dominion. So technically, he did see God face to face. Now, did he see the Most High, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai? That's a multitude of precepts. But he did see a God. Why? Let's get the book of John, chapter 10. Let's get John, right, chapter 10, and verse, let's start at 34. It says, they answered and said to him, thou wast altogether born in sin. It's like it. John 10 and 39. 24, 10 and 34. John 10, 34. Yahweh shall answer them, is it not written in your law, I said ye are God? So Yahweh Shai, through the Spirit, when we read Psalm 82 and 6, he said we are gods, man. Men are gods. Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai is a God because he's a power. And also Yahweh Shai is a power, and the angels are powers. Let's get another real quick precept on that. Let's go to 2nd Chronicles, right, chapter 18, verse 18. Real quick. Or 2nd Chronicles, chapter 18, and verse 18. It's the book of 2nd Chronicles, chapter 18, and verse 18. It reads, again, he said, therefore, hear the word of the Lord. I saw Yahweh sitting upon his throne, and all the hosts of heavens like standing on his right hand and on his left. So in the court, right in the upper layers of heaven, you have the Most High sitting on the throne. You have the 24 elders on the side, and then you got all the hosts of heaven. You got the right hand side angels, right, to hand out the righteous influence, and then you have the left hand side angels that hand out the left hand influence, right, the evil nerve. And it reads, verse 19, and the Lord said, who shall entice Ahab, king of Israel, that he may go up and fall at Ramoth Gilead? Right? Meaning what? What spirit can really influence to get this man enticed? So this is saying on a level, this spirit has some form of power. It has some form of influence. It has it's real. Allah is not a real God, right? The Ishmaelite God of rocks and tapestry and madness and dresses and men dresses and Sunni and Shiite, that God isn't real, right? So-called the idol, the image of Jesus Christ, he isn't real. Krishna isn't real. Ashtoreth, all these different gods, they aren't real. They don't have influence. They're not a power. That's why the Most High say his father to call upon these guys, right? So Satan, he technically has influence on the earth. The Most High has all influence on the earth, and men have some influence on the earth. So when we read and we see that this spirit is about to entice somebody, it's showing it has actual pull or authority. And one spake after this manner, and another saying after that manner. Then there came out a spirit and stood before the Lord and said, I will entice him. And the Lord said unto him, wherewith? So meaning, how is he going to entice him? Because he has power to entice. He has power to do stuff. So when we read in Genesis 32, that power, that God is just an angel. And an angel does have power. He's seen a power face to face. Why do you think he was frightened? Why do you think he was wrestling? Who is this? He was afraid. He was trying to figure it out because that's literally a power. You ain't never really saw something that has authority over you. Because when we read in Hebrews, it says we're a little lower than the angels. So they got a little more authority over us. You ain't never seen Yahweh in real life and seen his aura. It'll make you fearful. You will be scared. So he did see a God of power face to face. He did not see the Most High face to face. When you read John, that word John 1, that's going into Theos, going into literally the Most High God. That's not talking about God as the same understanding in the Hebrew. It's two different understandings, it's two different languages, and it's two different spirits behind the words. So with that, brothers got it.
Kind of just a quick point. Even when you go through the scriptures, like the brother I brought out, Israel is called gods. That's John chapter 10 and verse 34, Psalms 82 and verse 6, Exodus chapter 22 and verse 28. And this is a quick milk precept. Let's go to 1 Samuel chapter 4 and verse 8 that we all understand and know, right? It's the book of 1 Samuel chapter 4 and verse 8. Because the simplicity of Esau's mind, and that's why it tells you in Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 9, woe unto him that striveth against his maker. Because essentially that's all Esau does. That's just within his nature. He's the physical arm of Satan. Because all he wants to do is figure out how can he try to, beat the Most High, conjure up with his witchcraft, and his sorcery, things that are, that seem pleasing. It's like the serpent in the garden. Everything that comes out of his mouth, it sounds good, but it's evil, in the sight of the Most High. And that's why we shouldn't hearken unto it, because he really doesn't have no understanding. That's the book of 1 Samuel chapter 4 and verse 8. This the when Israel was going to war against the Philistines, and this is what they said in context. It says, woe unto us, who shall deliver us out of the hand of these mighty gods? Now these are literally, actually, let me continue on that. These are the gods that smote the Egyptians with all the plagues in the wilderness. Now this is the heathen calling Israel, these mighty gods. Now, if the heathen is saying that if the Israelites are gods and whatnot, can they say that that is literally the most high? Because even like I brought out with the precepts, right? You have certain contexts where Israelites are called gods. You have certain contexts where angels are called gods. You also have contexts where Israelites and angels are both called saints, depending on what book, chapter, and verse that you're reading. So obviously Esau doesn't have that understanding, so he's taking it face value as, oh, this has got to be talking about the Most High God, but he has no understanding whatsoever. So once again, this is already another cut, because you got to think, if the Israelites are really truly the Most High God, and there's many of them, or I mean, what point is he actually making by actually asserting that in Genesis chapter 32 and verse 30? So I mean, brothers kind of got it after that.
Con is definitely plain, even from square one. You actually read the account. He it said he said you seen God face to face and whatnot, but he didn't wrestle with God. Man can't wrestle with God. I mean,
Con,
that's
I got a
you.
quick point, King. I was about to say, even when you go to the book of Psalms, chapter 110, and I want to say verse 2 on down, verse 2 or 3 on down, it tells you that, heaven is the most high's throne and earth is his footstool. The most high Yahweh is not getting off of his throne to come wrestle with a measly, man, dust and ashes. That's folly. We're peons in the sight of the most high, literally ants. So, and who are we to be literally, seeing his face and living in his flesh? Like that, the scriptures contradict that. That goes against that. So clearly Esau doesn't have the understanding. And that's why it's truly important to search these things out and go through the precepts and understand, why does it say this here? Okay, or I see why it says it here, but okay, now I can see why it says that. And stop getting away from Christianity and all these so-called theologians and so-called, people who think they really know and the true understanding of the scriptures, and they have no understanding because the understanding was not given to them. The secret things are made known unto us. And I mean, it's just too many precepts when we really want to go into it. But I just want to make that quick point.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's plain. You read this actual account. He wrestled with an angel. You know, he wrestled with an angel, and that angel is not literally the Most High God. So he wasn't saying I seen God. Literally Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushua. The Most High God. He wasn't saying I literally seen him. Face to face. This is an angel. And like the brother mentioned, you go into this word God. Divine ones, rulers, judges, angels. That's all it means. It's just an angel. That's painted upon the table. Nobody's seen the Most High. All right. And I just want to get a precept on that. 1 John 4.
I mean, also, even if you think, I mean, this is a silly point to make, but now you telling me Jacob beat the Most High God? Is that what you really gonna say? So that's the folly of Esau's understanding. You would never say something stupid like that.
Yeah, it's just it's straight madness. At the end of the day, it's just folly, because that's what you're gonna have to allude to. And this 1 John 4 and 12 says, "No man have seen God at any time. If thou love one another, God dwelleth in us, and his love is perfected in us." So ain't nobody seen the Most High God, at any time. I mean, that's plain. All right. Yahushua said the same thing. Nobody heard his voice or seen his shape. So no, the literal Most High God not coming down here to fight human beings. That's retarded. And then not only that, not be strong enough to defeat his own creation. Okay. Then not only that, his own creation makes him give him a blessing. And then a mortal human tells the Most High God, "I'm not gonna let you go unless you bless me." And then God kind of say, "Oh, all right, well, look, come on, let's come to an agreement." No, man, that's retarded, man. That's madness. You don't even have to blitz him with a quadrillion precepts. Context within itself. Did he wrestle the Most High God? Yes or no? And if they say yes, well, they a damn fool. All right, he's just a damn idiot.
Come on, you gotta think. It tells you does have not the power over the clay,
Right.
and we're that clay. So yeah, I mean, once again, man, it never ceases to amaze me, and that's why these atheists, I mean, that's why they're at where they're at. Lost, gone, lost in the sauce. Their mind is madness and vanity.
And then too, there's several accounts like brothers mentioned earlier, additions of Esther, with Ahasuerus, and Esther and whatnot. Does that make him God now?
Right.
Is
He's
he
God too.
is he an angel now? Is he just all of a sudden an angel and he's a God and he's almighty Ahasuerus? It's a folly, man. All right. So it is, and that's the thing when people try to make these arguments about the Bible contradict. I mean, you're doing yourself more harm than good, because it's that understanding that y'all have, it does not filter throughout the rest of the Bible. That's why it's not sound doctrine. That's why it's not sound doctrine. And then who was that? With Jacob, and Esau.
Yeah,
Said
Genesis 32:10.
he said he seen God or something, or seen an angel, something like that.
Yeah,
See,
I've seen the face of God.
seen God.
A fancy God. Does that make Esau God now?
Hmm.
Esau himself, the progenitor of the Edomites. Is he now God? Was Jacob delusional?
Vessels of destruction.
You know, was God trying to hunt down Jacob and kill all his family with 400 men? It's never gonna make sense, man. It's madness.
I'm look at my closing precepts, man. Because we can do this all day. We can put a lot of stuff in the hot seat. Right? We put OT onlys in the hot seat. Or we put a lot of these spirits in the hot seat, man. We put a lot of demons in the hot seat. And we kind of crack their heads for fun. Right? And then we laugh at it. We rejoice. And then we turn up, man. And then we keep it pushing. So look at this last precept. It's the book of Second Ezra, right? Chapter 3. And let's start at this whole thing fire, man. Let's start at 35. It says, or when was it that they which dwell upon the earth have not sinned in thy sight? Or what people have so kept thy commandments? What people really follow the Most High, man? If you have to really think of a people just in the spirit, to put nothing with them, what people really follow the commandments just naturally, who really think about the Lord naturally, innately? It's the Israelites, man. God's chosen people, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Verse 36. Thou shalt find that Israel by name have kept thy precepts, but not the heathen, right? The heathen's not going to be breaking down Deuteronomy 28 to the heathen. Yeah, you need to the Israelites. Yeah, you need to repent. You need to get your mind right. You a Judite. Come on now, brother. We need you. Edomites don't say to Jacob, we need you. Right, we need you now. Wake up, Jacob. That's not going to happen, man. The Israelites are going to be keeping the precepts, following the Most High, breaking down the scriptures, and feeding the sheep. I'm going to read this last one. It's the book of John, right? Chapter 21, and started at verse 15. It's the book of John, chapter 21, and let's start at 15. So when they had dined, Yahushua saith to Simon Peter, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me more than these? He saith unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my lambs. The Israel is the lost sheep. It's the book of Jeremiah, chapter 15, verse 6. Verse 16. He said to him again the second time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? He said unto him, Yea, Lord, thou knowest that I love thee. He said unto him, Feed my sheep. Verse 17. And he said unto him the third time, Simon, son of Jonas, lovest thou me? Peter was grieved because he said unto him the third time, Lovest thou me? And he said unto him, Lord, thou knowest all things. Thou knowest that I love thee. Yahushua said unto him, Feed my sheep. So if you really love Yahushua, you will feed the sheep, man. You will go and feed the flock of God. You will take care of the elect. You will build them up, right? And 3 is for emphasis, right? So this is emphasis right here, man. This is a big deal. The Lord wasn't telling this to Peter 3 times because he just liked 3. Yeah, 3 is a cool number. Yeah, it's my favorite number since I've been in the temple. It's not his favorite number since he's been in the temple, right? It's a spirit of emphasis and standard and structure. All right, but brothers got it.
Khan. This is the book of Second Corinthians, chapter 4, and I'm gonna start at verse 3. And it says, But if our gospel be hid, it is hid to them that are lost. And I mean, ultimately, this is a deep precept, not just for, 2/3 of our people, according to prophecy. God forbid we're a part of that. But obviously, the heathen. The heathen will never understand this. The heathen will always be lost. That's why you can't really, one thing I heard, the brother Araya bring out a long time ago, he said that, you got to be initiated to read this book. You got to be initiated to have this understanding and to grow thereby. Nobody can just pick up the Bible and, all right, I already know what this is going into. Christians are not going into the book of Job. Christians don't touch the book of Revelation. They don't touch, some of the major deep parabolic understandings of the scriptures, because it's hid unto them, right? Verse 4, in whom the God of this world have blinded the minds of them which believe not, lest the light of the glorious gospel of Hamashiach, who is the image of the Most High, should shine unto them. And obviously, even when you think about the heathen, what was his name? Frank? He'll never get it. And a lot of these other heathens, and like Brother Kadar said, a lot of so-called Christians and Christianity, OT onlys, a lot of these people that are in these so-called doctrines, false doctrines at that, they don't truly know what's going on. They will never have the understanding, and it's hid unto them because the Most High is not dealing with them, unless, especially in regards to our people, that have a true and sincere heart that want to repent from that, from that understanding and from that way of the false knowledge that's been given unto them, right? And this is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 2 and verse 15. Study to show thyself approved unto God. To study to show thyself approved is to do what? To go back to the basics, the fundamentals of the scriptures, the true and perfect understanding. But you only can get that understanding by keeping the commandments. It says, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. So sometimes, especially like we go on with this video, when you see these things, online that Esau likes to propagate and assert into the masses of people with his witchcraft, and a lot of people just eat this up, having no understanding, you can go against that and be like, you know what? I know that's folly. And now you can, build yourself up through the precepts, get more rooted, get more grounded, in the doctrine and the true understanding of how Bashim Yahushai. And then you can do things like brothers is doing right now, making a video, going in this live and breaking these things down and showing the folly, showing the misunderstanding that has been given to these Edomitic, heathens, because they truly will never get it. Verse 16, but shun and profane vain babblings, for they will increase more and more into ungodliness. And that's what I'm starting to realize even more and more in these last days. A lot of this stuff, they just increase more and more. It's always a new doctrine, a new assertion, a new something that somebody comes out with every single day. They still trying to figure out who the Antichrist is. They think Trump is the Antichrist. But First John 2 says that there are many Antichrists out here. And there are many of you. So at the end of the day, you got to study to show thyself approved, so you can have the eyes salve, eyes to see, and ears to hear what's going on, so you don't get caught up in these, false doctrines or false understandings. Because like it also tells you in Sirach chapter 39 and verse 24, what's plain unto the holy is a stumbling block unto the wicked. And you don't want to be stumbling over, the basic things of the scriptures or even some of the deep things. That's why you truly got to be rooted in this thing and continue to grow thereby, right? But brothers got it.
Con. I'm gonna get this two quick precepts, to close out with. This is the book of Sirach, chapter 50 and verse 28. It says, blessed is he that shall be exercised in these things, and he that layeth them up in his heart shall become wise. For if he do them, he shall be strong to all things. For the light of the Lord leadeth him, who giveth wisdom to the godly. Blessed be the Lord forever. Amen, amen. So we want to be exercised with this righteous, mighty, beautiful, sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding that the Most High has given us, in these last days. Of course, it's going to be false doctrines. Of course, it's going to be evil, a wizards and warlocks like this guy that try to seduce and overthrow, men, women, and children of the Lord, and try to get them to break their faith and belief in Yahweh by Yahushua. Hey, but look, you want to be exercised with sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, so you can overcome that. And like Zeke mentioned earlier, you can have that buckler. Wisdom could be a defense to you, to keep the strange woman far away from you. So you want to be exercised with sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in these last days. You want to give heed to sound wisdom. You want to exercise yourself in the precepts and the breakdowns. It said what? And he that layeth them up in his heart shall become wise. So you want to lay up sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in your heart so you can become wise. Meaning what? Your heart meaning your mind. It says what? For if he do them, he shall be strong to all things, man. So if you exercise yourself and this sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, you will be strong. All right, you won't be overthrown. All right, about foolish, folly, and madness like that, and any other foolishness and folly that's out there, man. All right, let me get one more real quick. It's the book of Luke, chapter 2, instead of verse 8. It says, and there were in the same country shepherds abiding in the field, keeping watch over their flock by night. And that's one thing, we gotta watch over our souls, man. We in that spiritual nighttime in America. It's dark here. It's no righteousness really here. The only righteousness is the saints, man, in this land, man. We the only light, humbly speaking. And Lord willing, our light can forever shine, man. All right. But through the spirit, you got to watch over the flock by night, man. Nighttime, these doctrines is night. They're dark. They're evil. But you got to watch over the flock so the flock don't get devoured by these wicked, seducing doctrines, man. By raven and wolves that come in sheep clothing. All right. So Lord willing, we could always be, Lord willing, apt to teach, built up, and protect the flock and watch over their souls by night. Yahweh shall watch over us, man. He the chief shepherd, man. All right. We want him to always watch over us and keep us protected in this nighttime, in this land full of darkness, in this land full of dryness. It's thirsty. There's no water. All right. These waters here is tainted. They evil. They wicked. They're disgusting. They're brown with floaties in it, man. All right. You don't want to drink this foul water, man. You want the fresh, pure, living waters from Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. So we got to watch over the flock by night. And Lord willing, Yahweh Shai can keep watching over our souls. And Lord willing, we can stay in his hand and never be plucked out, man.
Kind of, I just wanted to put one more precept before we end this thing to expound on what brother said before we end this live. It's the book of Acts, chapter 20 and verse 28. It says, take heed, therefore, unto yourselves and to all the flock. So it's not just about us, but we also got to watch over everybody else's soul as well. Like brothers went to the precepts, uh, Jeremiah 50 and 6. Matthew 15:24, Psalms 103. Israel is that lost sheep, right? And we got to watch over everyone's soul, to the best of our ability with the talents and gifts of which we have been given, right? We can't just, like Adar went into earlier, we got to feed the sheep. We can't just get all the knowledge of wisdom and understanding for ourselves, but we also got to consider those that also seek wisdom and learning, like I tell you inside, right? It says, and to all the flock, which the Holy Ghost, or Holy Spirit, have made you overseers to feed the church of God, which he had purchased with his own blood. So we got to look out for each other. We got to teach each other, build up each other. Whether you have 30-fold, 60-fold, 100-fold, we got to all build each other up in the time, especially like we are now in Babylon, where there is no true wisdom, knowledge, and understanding in this land. The famine of the word does draw nigh, with all of the policies and all of the prophecies that are coming to pass. And Esau can't wait to really truly, implement that with a strong force. But the Most High is showing mercy. So while we still do have the strength and the time to go into these things, why can't we not do that? So then we can continue to build ourselves up on faith. Verse 29, for I know that, it's like if I know this, that after my departing, grievous wolves shall enter in among you, not sparing the flock. Now imagine if we didn't do these lives, these videos, going over the simplest things in regards to cutting down the strongholds and the delusions that Esau has propagated upon our people for decades and almost hundreds of years, if we really want to go into it. But nevertheless, these are wolves, and we gotta look after the sheep, man. We got to do our job. We got to wipe the blood off our hands and commit more righteous works with what the Most High has given us, right? So He could look upon us, and we can not only find favor but continue to glorify His name, right? We need to glorify His name in every aspect, right? And we're gonna do that by building the church up and building ourselves up through the Spirit, Most High willing. Verse 30 is the last point. Also of your own selves shall men arise, speaking perverse things to draw away disciples after them. And that's why we do these videos and go over these small breakdowns in whatever capacity that we do. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to the heathen, when it comes to all these fake doctrines and false religions, so on and so forth, guess what? There's a lot of people that are still in these things. When you go into the number, if I'm not mistaken, these so-called denominations are in the billions of congregants. It's a lot of work that we still truly got to break in. Now, with all the different camps and all the different ministries in Yahushua, there are brothers out there doing it, but how much more we on whatever level that the Most High has given us through the Spirit. So with that, I yield.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 8. I'm gonna start at verse number 8. It says, all the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing forward or perverse in them. And that's why we got to sup with the spirit as much as we can. That's why we got to dive into the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of Yahweh by Yahweh Shah as much as we can, because the knowledge that flow from the Most High, it'll never overthrow us. This is righteous, sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. It's nothing perverse in the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of the Most High. See, the stuff we was just going over and many other things, those things are perverse. Those things are tainted. They're disgusting, vile, and wicked. All right, they're not right. That's strange woman right there. That's not sound doctrine. That's not sound wisdom. That's not wisdom that coming from Yahweh Yahweh Shah. All right, I'm reading again. All the words of my mouth are in righteousness. There is nothing forward or perverse in them. They are all plain to him that understandeth, and right to them that find knowledge. And the Lord allowed us to find the true knowledge, his knowledge. You know, there's truth. So all the words of the Most High is right to us. It ain't no contradiction to us. We don't see that. All we see is sound edification. And we see the Bible flowing harmoniously, man. That's what we see, you know. And Lord willing, you know, we elect. Lord willing, we part of the true righteous, man. You know, but these things, you know, to the wicked, they fumble the bag every time. They don't get it. They don't know what's going on. All right, they lost and damn bamboozled all over the dang place. And they think this contradicting and this ain't adding up with this and da 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 da. No, man. You know, the wisdom is not made plain to you. All right, and let me get another one too. We'll go to Wisdom of Solomon 7:28, one of my favorite precepts. This Wisdom of Solomon 7 and verse number 28. It says, for God loveth none but him that dwelleth with wisdom. So the Lord love a brother, a sister, even a child, you know, that dwells with wisdom, man. The more we sup with wisdom, which is overall already supping with Yahweh and Yahweh Shah on a grand, you know, scheme of things, the more we get built up, the more we get sharp, the more we get rooted in sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. You know, the Lord wants you to dwell with wisdom. He wants you to read those chapters. He wants you to study and go over those cuts, those daggers. And that's something we try to get better at each and every day. Brothers, not just super elite Israelites, you know, just eyes glued to the Bible 24 hours and you don't even use the bathroom. You don't even wash up. You don't even brush teeth. You just eyes look, come on, man. We in the flesh too. All right. But nevertheless, it's our heart's desire to be filled with wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, elite, sharp memory, sharp understanding, sharp edification. It's our heart's desire, man. And the more we sup with wisdom and the more we go over these precepts and, you know, have fiery repetition, you know, the mightier we get and the more solid and rooted, you know, we get, man. You know, let me get another quick precept real quick. I believe that's Colossians, the 3rd chapter that I want. This book Colossians. Right, chapter, I believe that's 3.
What does it say?
Rooted and built up. 3 and no, it might be 1 and dang, it was on the tip of my tongue, man. Oh yeah, here we go. 2 right here, Slaki. I knew I was trying to pull it out of my brain, man. All praise myself. Authority. How this Colossians 2 and I start at verse 6. It says, as ye have therefore received Hamashiach Yahushua the Lord, so walk ye in him, rooted and built up in him, established in the faith, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving. So that's how we aspire to be. We want to be rooted and built up in Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushua, and in his son Yahushua, man. You want to be rooted. You want to stand firm and sure in the righteous sound doctrine of the scriptures, man. The righteous sound doctrine of the Most High. You want to be rooted and built up in Yahushua, man. They say what? Established in the faith. And that's a beautiful thing, to be established in the faith. Because once you establish in the faith, you done built your house, you know, upon the rock. Like it talked about in Matthew the 7th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. You can't be tossed to and fro with every sleight of doctrine, with every wind of doctrine. Because you establish in the faith. Your feet is standing sure and rooted in this truth, man. All right. It say, as ye have been taught, abounding therein with thanksgiving, man. So that's how I aspire to be. That's our brothers on Kodari, Ezekiel, and all other brothers and sisters in this truth, man, of a sincere heart. We aspire to be rooted and built up in sound wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, because it's beautiful to sup and dwell with wisdom, man. It's beautiful when the Most High turn your spirit up and give you that increase in the memory getting sharper. You getting quicker with the precepts. You quick with the sword. You getting more and more understanding. Why? Because you're dealing with wisdom. All right, let me get another precept real quick. This is the book of Revelation, right? I want chapter 3. All right, another classic. This is the book of Revelation, chapter 3. And I'm gonna start at verse number 20. It says, "What? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me." All right. So in these last days, I was just meditating on this earlier. You know, I myself, as well as other brothers, sisters and children, in this thing, we got to take full advantage of the time that we have now where we can somewhat even sit down, so-called comfy in your chair, and you actually got the time to sup with the spirit. For your house shot and knock on the door, and you say kind and let him in, and he sup with you. The times that we getting ready to come in, we're not gonna be on the damn laptop, on that damn video thing, man. Doing lives. We ain't about to be doing all of that, man. But we got the time to do that now. Now, of course, brothers got jobs, families, you work long hours. But the point is, right now, this is the only chance or opportunity we got on a high, consistent level to constantly sit in front of the table, sit in front of your desk, sit with your rib, go through these precepts, read, meditate, study. And so you may go to the library, get you some peace and quiet, go to the outdoors and hear the birds chirp and meditate in the scriptures. You got to take advantage of that and let Yahweh Shah sup with you as much as you can now. Because the times we going into, you running for your damn life every other day. People want to kill you, man. You hiding in the darn bushes somewhere and wherever, man. Coming across a bunker or whatever, traveling to and fro as pilgrims on the earth, man. And I was just meditating to myself like that. Like, man, I got to be on fire, man. I got to dive into these scriptures much more. And I got to meditate more and take advantage of this time. Brothers work 12-hour shifts, damn 16-hour shifts. That already eat up majority of the dang day, man. And then you still trying to find a way to squeeze in, these scriptures, man. It's coming to the point in time where we don't have that opportunity. It'd be beyond, it'd be so great of a blessing, if the Most High let you be on the run as a pilgrim with your damn Bible. And you have time to sit down stress-free. Stress-free, with nobody hunting your damn head for at least 2 days. That'd be so great of a blessing, man. All right, but I'm reading one more time. It says, "What? Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me," man. So this is the time, to allow Yahweh Shah to sup with us as much as possible, man. That go for me and that go for, brothers and sisters as well.
Con, I just wanted to expound on the point where you was at. This is a mighty precept in Revelation chapter 23. I said 23, 3 and verse 20, Slaki, where it says, I'm going to read it real quick and expound. It says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock." And obviously we know that that's talking about Yahweh Shai, right? That's John the 10th chapter, verse 1 on down. "If any man hear my voice and open the door." So when you talk about hearing the voice of the Lord, how do you hear the voice of the Lord? Through the words, through the precepts, through the understanding of these scriptures, and while brothers get it sent. That's how you open in the door, and the door is your mind. Essentially that's your mind. Yahweh Shai is coming to you. Like, for example, if I come to Ainah house, I'm a guest and I'm expecting Ainah, to feed me, to give me something to drink, to take care of me in any capacity. But Yahweh Shai is greater than that. Why? It says, "I will," Salaki, "if any man hear my voice and open the door," meaning you open your mind to this understanding, wisdom, knowledge, right? It says, "I will come in unto him and sup with him and he with me." So, just like how I'm expecting I not to have something for me if I come to his house, Yahweh Shai is better than that. He's going to come to you and he's going to give you the bread, the meat, the wine, the oil, the butter, everything that you need for a feast. Yahweh Shai is there, ready to get that out, willing to get that out. But you know what? You got to be able to apply yourself. You got to be able to, consider your ways, examine yourself, and to start changing yourself while brothers still have the time. Because, time is running short. And, while brothers can do these videos in whatever capacity that we do them, the fly got to take advantage of them, as well as ourselves as well, that we may continue to be built up and fight the good fight of faith. Because we need as much faith as possible in these last days. Yahweh Shai say, if you had the faith of a mustard seed, you should move mountains. Right now, and ain't none of us moving mountains. I wish I could. I know where I would move it to. But at the end of the day, we don't we don't have that type of capability right now, so that means we got to work on it, right? So I yield with that.
God, man, definitely gotta have great faith in these last days, man. Hey, the faith of a mustard seed, like the brother say, can move a damn mountain, man. All right. Let me get another preset real quick. I want to go to the other classic. I love the classics, man. It was really keep me, in this thing, man. I love these classics. Let's go to Proverbs 9. I'm gonna start at verse 1. Proverbs 9 and 1. It say, wisdom have builded her house. She have hewn down her 7 pillars. It say, she have killed her beast. She have mingled her wine. She have also furnished her table, man. All right. So wisdom got this whole thing set up and prepared for you to come sup, for you to eat, for you to get food, for you to have a dwelling place, man. Wisdom got it all set up and laid out for you. You just got to come and partake. All right. It says, what? She have sent forth her maidens. She crieth upon the highest places of the city. All right. Now go back to Proverbs, the first chapter, man. All right. Wisdom crieth out, man. In the chief place of concourse, man. All right. It says, what? Whoso is simple, let him turn in hither. As for him that wanteth understanding, she saith to him. So wisdom invites you. Look, if you don't know what's going on, come here. Maybe you don't know it all. That's fine. Look, come here. I got you. Mm-hmm. All right. It say what? Come eat of my bread and drink of the wine which I have mingled. Forsake the foolish and live, and go in the way of understanding, man. So wisdom, she giving you free games. She telling you, look, come up out of all that folly and come where it's really at. All right, come where it's really popping over here. I got everything laid out for you. I got a whole feast for you, and I got yan for you too. Whatever you want, come be where it's really good at. And she gonna put that yoke of iron on you, man. That discipline, and she gonna prove you, and she gonna try you. All right. So come dwell with wisdom in these last days, man. It's a lot on the table. It's a lot of food to be ate up, man. All right. Straight up and down. It say, forsake the foolish and live. And that's definitely something, we all got. It's a lot of foolish things, that try to distract Jake in these last days. But what do wisdom say? Look, forsake that and come live, man. All right. Because, everybody who love the foolish and the folly is since they're in the congregation of the dead anyway. They ain't alive. They may think they're alive. They ain't really alive for real, man. We want to really be made living with the breath of life, with that wisdom, with that knowledge. The wisdom said, wherefore are ye slow? And Sirach 51. All right. We didn't just come into this truth and was just a damn genius. All right. Had to take the time to learn this, to learn that, precepts, laws, prophecies, practical knowledge. It's so much to learn. It's so much available. It's so much on the line. And we got to try to take advantage of it as much as we can. Wisdom, she just gave you a whole get down, man. Let me get that Sirach 51 real quick. The book of Sirach chapter 51. And we'll start at verse. This whole thing good. I'm going to start at 23. Sirach 51 and 23. It says, draw near unto me, ye unlearned, and dwell in the house of learning. And that's beautiful, man. That's beautiful. It say dwell in the house of learning. I need to dwell in. That's a cut to me. That's my cut for the night, man. I need to dwell in the house of learning more. There's so much stuff to learn. Brother's diving into something every day. Brother Quadar, historian. Your brother diving into something every day, man. It's so much to learn. History on this, history on that. Zeke with the sharp memory. Brother blazing through 7-10 chapters, man. Came across this classic precept, blew the dust off this one and learned this new one right here. This whole thing fire, man. This whole role, man. All right. It say dwell in the house of learning, man. Brothers really be fiending to be in the Bible all day, man. Even though that's not even practical to a certain extent. So what? Fiending, man. If I had $1 million in my bank account and it kept replenishing every 2 months, boy, oh boy. Mm-hmm. I don't think I could, Lord willing, I don't even come out of this book, man. Only to get some rest. Because if I don't get no rest, then I can't dive back into it. All right. But if I ain't had to go clock in, man, and give 8-10 hours of my life, to my oppressor, my damn enemy. All right, Lord willing, I could be the much more on fire because Satan not dumb. You got a milli that replenish every 2 months. So I'm sending that idle demon your way so fast, boy, it ain't even funny.
Hmm.
You know, Satan ain't retarded now. You would think you have the advantage. Oh yeah, I'll read all day. I got $1 million every 2 months in my bank account. I have nothing but time. Yeah, all right. You think that simple if you want to. You still got to fight. All right. But nevertheless, the point is we want to dwell in the house of learning as much as we can in these last days, man. All right. I'm gonna keep going on that. It says, wherefore are ye slow? And what say ye of these things, seeing your souls are very thirsty? And wisdom, she said, how did look you slow? Your soul thirsty. You need me. All right. Now I know Jake don't want to hear that coming from a woman. Hey, but this woman, she's called it how it is. Look, I need her. This woman worth fighting for right here. I cry. You know, Jake, he gonna cry, but you know, carnal, fleshly. But this one, look, I'm shed tear. Look, I need you. You ain't afraid. I ain't afraid to look, I need you. All right, don't leave me. All right. They say what? I opened my mouth and said, buy her for yourselves without money. Put your neck under the yoke and let your soul receive instruction. She is hard at hand to find. And wisdom not an easy thing to obtain. She hard at hand to find. Because she like that choice jewel amongst all jewels. She not regular. She not with the common folk.
Mm-mm.
Anybody can go to these damn funky jewelers and get their little lab made diamonds. Like, anybody can go there. We talking about a real diamond in the rough, man. And you might have to dig through a damn mountain to get this woman right here, this jewel right here. You gotta go through a lot to get wisdom. Okay. It says what? Behold with your eyes how that I have had but little labor and have gotten unto me much rest. It says, get learning with a great sum of money and get much gold by her. Let your soul rejoice in his mercy and be not ashamed of his praise. Work your work betimes, and in his time he will give you your reward. So if we work our work, you know, in these last days, seeking the most high wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and trying our best to be the best Israelites that we could be, the Lord said we get our reward in the end. You know, so it's all gonna pay off. You know, you got a lot of men, you know, they work, you know, in the sports industry, you know, the music industry, you know, whatever else they got out here, you know, celebrities, movie stars, actors, they work, you know, like there is no tomorrow. And they don't have a real reward in the end unless they repent, you know, and they Jake, of course. Hey, but we working another work, man. We working the Lord work, man. You know, and we gonna get a reward, Lord willing, man, when it's all said and done. Because, hey, Lord willing, you know, we ain't working in vain, man. Striving after wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Striving after the Most High, Yahushua. You know, the Lord say, you know, I know the thoughts that I think of you, thoughts of peace, and they give you an expected end.
Okay.
You know, I think that's Jeremiah 29:11.
Okay.
You know,
I got one last precept, King. It's the book of Psalms, chapter 125 and verse 4. It says, do good, O Yahweh, unto those that be good, and to them that are upright in their hearts. And what will make you good or upright within your mind? Obviously, you being obedient, you having integrity, you being sincere, and obviously keeping the laws of the Most High God, right? Because that's Romans chapter 7 and verse 12. We know that the law is holy and just and good. Verse 5, as for such as turn aside unto their crooked ways, the Lord shall lead them forth with the workers of iniquity, but peace shall be upon Israel. So the Most High is looking for those that will work their work betimes, that will seek out this wisdom, knowledge, and learning. And then also, what else would they do? Like Yahweh Shai said in Matthew chapter 5 and verse 16, he said, let your light shine before men, they may see your good works, but glorify your Father which is in heaven. So, Most High willing, this video has been edifying, and brothers have eloquently brought out and broke down and made it plain upon tables to where you may be able to understand.
all praise to the Most High Yahweh by Shema Mashiach Mamadak Yahushua, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushua. Lord willing, this video was edifying, like the mighty brother said. And Lord willing, the Most High was pleased with this sacrifice, and Lord willing, it was worthy and acceptable, in His sight. And Lord willing, we can stay sharp and keep enduring in His truth, and do our best to stay on fire, steadfast and rooted, in His truth and in Yahweh Shai, in these last days. But with that, we're gonna close up, of course, giving all honor, glorification, and praises to the Most High Yahweh, by Shema Mashiach Wamadak Yahweh Shai, and to His beloved Son Yahweh Shai as well. Shalom.
Shalom.